Did you know that a Nepali entrepreneur has a chip that's on the Mars rover? How many people knew that? Think about it. A Nepali entrepreneur has a chip on the Mars rover, on the rover that's on Mars. How many of you knew that a Nepali entrepreneur, his technology lights up Times Square in New York City? Incredible, right? How many of you knew that there is a female Nepali astronaut who's about 26 years old? How many people knew that? How many of you knew that there is, at the Oscars Museum in LA, the head of exhibitions is a Nepali woman? For people that follow American football, how many of you knew that a Nepali entrepreneur has a house next to Tom Brady? I have incredible stories like these, of the Nepali diaspora, and that's what I'm here to talk about. But to begin, when we talk about a connected economy, we talk about so many different things, right? We talk about infrastructure and digital transformation and geopolitics, and those are all really, really important things. But one thing that we've been missing for the longest time is connecting people, connecting the dots. That's why the Great Nepali Diaspora was born, and that's what I'm here to share about. So I started the Great Nepali Diaspora, or TGND, 2 years ago, with a very, very simple objective. On a personal level, I felt like I didn't want to be one more complainer, one more person that says, oh, nothing is going to happen in Nepal. We're too small. We're between India and China. We're dependent on donor agencies. Our government doesn't work, right? So for me, on a personal level, this was a quest to do something that's productive. But a more logical reason was that the timing is so right for the diaspora. Let me explain. We have about 30 million people, Nepalese, and a growing number of people that are outside Nepal. At this point, if you look at the diaspora, I know that the news covers a lot about migrants and the sad stories and so on, but there are incredible stories coming out of the diaspora as well. Which means that the Nepali diaspora is highly educated, has incredible jobs, incredible disposable income, and more importantly, I think the Nepali diaspora wants to contribute to Nepal. I think that makes all the difference, right? We joke that we call it the new midlife crisis. And it's true for people from any community, right? You go abroad to study, to work, but at some point you want to come back, you want to do something for Nepal. For the Nepalis, the timing is now, where there is this growing group of people that have this sense of urgency, that wants to contribute, but haven't felt like they've had a platform. So in terms of what we do at the Great Nepali Diaspora, we've thought of things as step 1 and step 2. So step 1 has always been connecting the diaspora, and number 2 is making meaningful connections to Nepal. Step 1, especially because the diaspora has always been very fragmented. If you just look at the US or any other country in the world, the Nepali diaspora, we've been separated by our location. People in Boston versus Australia are not really connected. We're also very fragmented by the industries we work in. So researchers have been so separate from entrepreneurs and people in the creative field and so on. And then also, our ethnicity also plays a part. So we've also seen that the Nepali diaspora has also been really, really fragmented by, our caste, our community we belong to. So at the Great Nepali Diaspora, we've made a really, really conscious effort. How do you bring Nepalis or global professionals with roots in Nepal and connect them through one platform, right? So where we're trying to be really, really inclusive in terms of our leadership, in terms of the programs that we do, but also try to find meaningful ways to contribute. In terms of, there's a lot of activities we do. If you follow us on LinkedIn or see our website, you'll see a lot of activities, but we've actually looked at 3 things in particular, and I'd love to share about those with you. So one really, really important thing has been really being this neutral entity and doing an audit of things in Nepal, looking at the gaps that exist, looking at the duplication that happens, and providing expertise or providing some kind of resources. I'll share a little bit in terms of some of the work that we do. Number 1 is this project that I'm super proud of. It's called the Diaspora Mapping Survey, which is basically a collection of data about the Nepali diaspora. So Nepalis have been leaving Nepal for years and years, I think from 60s, if not earlier, right? But there is no entity, not even the Nepali government, that has any information, or actually, I shouldn't say any information, that has, robust information about the diaspora, where we are, what we do, what we're capable of, right? Which means that we're not one collective voice. In our adopted countries, in our adopted home countries, whether it's the US or Australia, we're not visible because we're not counted, right? And in our home countries, Nepal, we're not, again, a collective because we're not really showcasing what we're capable of. So the Diaspora Mapping Survey is an incredible project. It's a group of data scientists and social scientists and researchers that have come together. We're in our second phase of work. We're doing focus groups and so on. What we're really hoping is that becomes a foundation for future research, even advocacy for policy and whatnot. So that's something that we're super, super proud of. Something recently that we've started are a few initiatives. One is on aviation safety in Nepal, which, whenever an aircraft crashes, we all get so emotional about it. It's something that, I heard there have been about 27 air crashes in the last 30 years, which is pretty crazy. So one thing that we've done is bringing together experts from the diaspora as well as non-Nepalis from the aviation sector, really looking at how things are happening in Nepal. What are the gaps there? So we have an interesting group forming, and we hope to present our recommendations really soon. Similar to that is a long-term disaster preparedness project that we're working on with some entities in Nepal and abroad, where we are looking at the recent floods, COVID and whatnot, and really looking at changing the perception of Nepalis, all of us, in terms of really thinking about long-term planning and preparedness. So, with climate change, all of us know that disasters are going to be more frequent, more intense, and we want to be really prepared in terms of thinking about infrastructure and all of that. So apart from all of those, entrepreneurship has always been a really big focus for TGND. You heard from Dr. Shamika as well in terms of what startups can do in terms of having that domino effect in society. So what we've done is we've run one cohort of a non-technical entrepreneurship, which is people that don't really have a technical background. We've taken them through a cohort, and they've done well. We actually ran 2 cohorts of a technical entrepreneurship, which is people based in Nepal and around the world. We connected them to investors and mentors. Some examples are NEFmeet, that's based here, and few other companies that are based in US and Europe. So some of these startups have done really, really well in terms of getting that exposure to an outside market and so on. And now, you can see it on my bio as well, we just started Momo VC. It's an early stage VC fund for underrepresented founders. our investors in the fund are Nepali and non-Nepali, and which is super, super exciting, right? Exciting not only because this is the first VC fund based in the US by Nepali investors, but the potential of it. What I'm so truly, truly passionate about is our network of fellow investors that will invest in Nepali companies with us. So that's super exciting. We're also working with USA to figure out how to help Nepali companies here. In terms of entrepreneurship, we just signed an MOU with FWIN, a Female Entrepreneurs Association, to give them market access and everything. One company that's here, Nepal Tea, we helped them a little bit in terms of their fundraising. They got a $1 million grant from USAID, and we're really excited to see companies like that flourish, whether it's through the Great Nepali Diaspora or Momo VC. The last thing I'll mention is one of the things we're trying to do with the Great Nepali Diaspora. There's so many use cases in terms of what we've done for startups, for creatives, and whatnot, but women empowerment has been an incredible thing that we really want to champion. We want to showcase the best practices that we're learning around the world and showcasing here. So we started the Women Empowered Network with Saloni and some incredible ladies like Sophia, Trisha, Kishu, and we're really trying to also train Nepali women in terms of everything from networking to women entrepreneurship and so on. We have a series of workshops going on with that. So lots of things. I hope everybody can ask me questions later, but I want to end with one quick thing. In Nepal especially, we've all heard, I've heard this so many times growing up, and I'm sure you've heard some version of it, right? That we want to make Nepal into the next Switzerland, or Nepal into the something, right? I think a more practical sense is why don't we connect the dots? Why don't we connect the diaspora to other, stakeholders like donor agencies, like other, entities, and actually make it happen? So thank you.